Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marina D'Alessandro, and I'm part of the ESOF2020 Communication Unit. Welcome, everybody, to the press conference presenting the new program, the new formats, and all the other news about ESOF2020 Trieste. As probably many of you already know, the 2020 edition of the EuroScience Open Forum has been postponed to the 2nd until the 6th of September in response to the pandemic emergency. Today we are here to relaunch it together with some guests that I'm going to introduce now. Welcome to Stefano Fantoni, champion of ESOF 2020, Michael Matlosz, president of EuroScience, Cambon-Thomsen, champion of the 2018 edition of ESOF in Toulouse, and Clive Cookson, member of the ESOF 2020 International Marketing and Media Committee. Before to leave them the floor, just a quick reminder, there will be a question and answer moment at the end of the press conference. And at that moment, anyone would like to ask a question can click the raise your hand button. And my colleague Alessandro Tavecchio, that is managing all the direction of the conference. So thank you, Alessandro, by the way. Alessandro will unmute you and will put you into contact directly with the speaker, so it will be possible to ask your question after the speeches. So I think that now it's time to start, and I leave the floor, first of all, to Stefano Fantoni, the champion of ESOF 2020.
Thank you, Marina, and thank you, and welcome, everybody. Just a few words to open the press conference. One of the things I want to say to start is the fact that this pandemic has been certainly the major problem that we suffered, and I think everybody suffered. And I believe that just recalling the fact that there are many deaths and many suffering around, it is very important at this point. Even the sort of decision that have been taken is related to this fact, which cannot be forgotten, and imposed to us to go through, as imposed to us to go through rather instead of a celebrative event, to an event which is important as a service for Europe, for everybody. That has been given two major changes. One change is methodological. Instead of having only sessions and event in presence, now we will have to have a session using digital methodology. This digital methodology means that we will have actually three kinds of possibilities that we have been offering to the speakers. One is in full remote. Panels will be done in full remote methodology. Other panels in mixed, so-called hybrid form, in which there are presence and remote, and in full presence. Just to tell you, in general, that we had a very high attendance to the previous sessions. I mean, the coordinator of the session have answered practically at 90% to accept to be present in September, and that should be considered as a big success, according to me. And there will be, say, just half and half full remote and hybrid form. The second aspect is that we have been introducing argument-related sessions and topics related to the pandemic, and that is certainly something that could not be avoided. Actually, it's a sort of must that we have. I mean, the feeling that we had was that was a must for us. And so there will be a number of sessions which will be related to the problem just induced by this pandemic from the point of view of the problem of the health, the problem related to the economy that is going to suffer and will suffer even more, the problem of how the city will going to be. So there are many events like that that will be discussing this, and I think will be just discussed and presented. Let me sort of conclude these few minutes that I have, just telling you some of the names that have been accepted, because there are many. I mean, we have sort of 700, 800 speakers that have been accepted to come or to participate. But between them, we have a certain number of let's call it keynote speakers, and let me mention some of those. I will certainly forget some others, but I mean that's life. I mean, one of the keynote speakers will be Alessio Figalli. Alessio Figalli is a field medalist, mathematics field medalist, and he will come and will be one of the keynote speakers. There will be Jan Matai, that is director of Human Expo. There will be Jean-Pierre Bourguignon, that will just discuss together with Elga Novotny a session of the European Research Council. There will be Ignazio Visco, who is the governor of Banco Governor, Italian Bank Governor. And we are working to have, it's not still completely fixed, but it's going to be like that, Jeffrey Sachs and Rem Koolhaas. Jeffrey Sachs to discuss about the economical problem together with Visco, and Rem Koolhaas about the new cities, the new architecture that we want to have in the next future. This is just some of the keynote speakers. Let me mention also that we will have institutional person like the Minister of Research and University, the Italian one, Gaetano Manfredi. We will have Daminovic of the same ministry from Montenegro. We will have Marie Gabriel from the disease research. So and in the conclusion, the concluding session, we will see the presence of the Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte as invited, and will be present with us. Where ESOF will be done? ESOF will be done in the Porto Vecchio. We'll be using three main buildings, named Building 27, 28, and 28 plus, and everything will be done there. Where people that will come will find four actually physical, say, office rooms. One big one, the auditorium, and the other three smaller dimension. And there will be also three virtual rooms that for remote sessions that will be in any way visible also to citizens. So again, there will be interesting sessions. For instance, the climate change will be discussed. Filippo Giorgi, the Nobel Prize with Filippo Giorgi will be there. Data science and supercomputing will be another very important, relevant sessions. The cinematic of robotics will also be discussed. And so, I mean, the full program is available in the website, and so I think everybody and the journalists can see that very, very easily. Just a few words about the Science Festival, which is the part that in ESOF is related to Science to Citizen. That festival also has been suffering from the remodeling in a way due to the COVID, to the pandemic, but the participation is still been very, very high. Consider that we have distributed in 2-3 weeks. Actually, it will be more distributed to make it more available. There will be about 150 events, which will be sort of aggregation of organization in the city. Consider there will be organized by about 100 of such organizations between institutional or just other museum, theaters, and so on. The number of these organizations are hundreds, with the participation of people of the order of thousands. So, I mean, 1,000 people will be working for this science festival, and we expect few tens of, I mean, we expect 20, 30,000 visiting people to attend this festival. So I don't think I just use it all my time, so I just leave the floor to the next speaker.
Thank you. Thanks to Professor Fantoni, and I see that there are a lot of journalists, of attendees from all over Europe that are sending us greetings. So greetings to everybody. And now it's time to leave the floor to the second speaker, Michael Matlosz, the president of EuroScience, the association that founded the EuroScience Open Forum. So please, Michael, the floor is yours. Probably is mute now. Just a minute that.
Okay, very good. Yes, I lost the possibility of reopening my microphone. Yes, so good afternoon to everyone. I'm very happy to see so many people are online. According to my list on my screen, there are 186 participants on this video conference call. So I think it's a very positive attendance for our press conference. A couple of words about EuroScience, the founder of the EuroScience Open Forum, the ESOF conference series. EuroScience is a non-profit pan-European association acting as the voice of individual researchers and science professionals across Europe, independently of their institution or company affiliation. So we're interested in scientists and researchers and other science professionals as individual professionals and representing them. Our mission is to develop a scientific workforce in Europe and worldwide that creates positive change for society. And our interaction with society and the EuroScience Open Forum is really a key feature of what we are trying to do. Our priorities are to promote researchers and other scientists as responsible, ethical professionals, and also to promote science as an essential component and contributor to society. So in this context, the importance of ESOF for us is really, really essential. ESOF is our flagship action and the way that we promote what we are trying to do for scientists and for society. Every 2 years, since 2004, ESOF is brought together in an interactive forum, a diverse assembly of scientific professionals, including researchers, both in academia and industry, communicators, science journalists, and policymakers, and allows them not only to interact with each other, but to interact with interested citizens and stakeholders. ESOF is in this connection a unique event in Europe. There is nothing else like it, and particularly not on this scale. It's at the heart of the desire of EuroScience to be inclusive and to open dialogue with all of society around the issues facing science, the development of science, its role in policy, and the necessary changes needed to make scientific practice more societally accountable. In this connection, associating ESOF, as Stefano Fantoni mentioned, with the festival Science in the City is extremely important and reinforces the essential link to society as a whole for what we are doing. ESOF2020 in this connection, as the 9th edition of the ESOF series, is more important than ever. The COVID-19 pandemic has revealed an even more pressing need for reflection, debate, and dialogue on scientific practice, scientific communication, and scientific expertise. So for us, this edition of ESOF is probably more important than any of the previous ones, given the current global context. We at EuroScience will be adding some additional material to the program, and in particular a targeted EuroScience mini symposium around the idea of the role of research and science advice in global crisis response. And that mini symposium will have 4 panels, including research against the clock. What does it mean to do research under time constraints? The role of science advice under very, very delicate and complex contexts. How to communicate science in times of crisis, and how can we interact with the general public to make clear the things that we know and the things that we do not know. And lessons learned from the COVID-19 crisis. We will have contributions both from Europe, but also from outside of Europe, to think about what can we learn from the current global crisis on scientific practice, science advice, and science expertise. In addition to that, the EuroScience Working Group on Science Policy will be running 2 sessions, which will be taking into account the impact and the consequences of the global pandemic right now on the future of the way we do things. One of those sessions will be on innovation and how innovation is changing in the current context. And a second session, extremely important for us, is a session on the consequences and impact of the COVID pandemic on the future of scientific careers. I think it's very important for us as a member-based organization of scientists, as individuals, to think about the career development of the new generations going forward. We really feel that these sessions, as a complement to all of the other sessions, and Stefano mentioned a number of them, there are more than 150 sessions running at ESOF. All of them are excellent. All of them have been evaluated not only for their quality, but also for their relevance to the missions of what we assign to ESOF. And all are at the heart of our mission at EuroScience to position science as a major contributor to the well-being of society. As president of EuroScience, I'm very, very happy to work with Stefano Fantoni, a champion in Trieste, and the entire Trieste team to deliver ESOF in this hybrid format. And I hope that many of you will attend, either physically in Trieste or virtually. The hybrid format is, of course, a challenge, and it's new for us, but also an opportunity to welcome a larger number of participants to engage in the exchange and the debate. COVID has shown how the relation of science to society is crucial for us all. ESOF2020 as an open interactive forum could not be happening at a better time, and we felt that it was necessary that we do it immediately as the pandemic is progressing, to be able to draw major conclusions from what's happening for scientific practice and the interface of science and society. So I'm looking forward to meeting as many of you, of the 183 of you that are still online, physically in Trieste or virtually via internet, and also to an exciting and fruitful 9th ESOF edition in September. So thank you very much for your attention, and thank you for participating in the press conference.
Thank you. Thanks to Michael Matlosz. And now I shall leave the floor to our other speaker. Before that, just let me say hi to all the other attendees that are writing on the chat. And I was wrong, because I told that there are a lot of attendees from all over Europe, but I see that there are people from all over the world, Africa, India. So I'm really happy to say hi to everybody and to see all of you here joining us. So now I leave the floor to Cambon-Thomsen, the champion of the 2018 edition of ESOF of the EuroScience Open Forum. So please, Professor Cambon-Thomsen, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and hello to everybody in this huge all over the world crowd. I'm particularly happy to have been invited to participate in this press conference as the previous champion of the previous ESOF in 2018 in Toulouse in France. And I'm in a position to particularly appreciate, also in the name of the scientific community, how the challenge that has been taken by the Trieste team to keep the spirit of an ESOF, EuroScience Open Forum, I will come back to that in a minute, in the context of this pandemic. And they were preparing a similar kind of event like we had 2 years ago in Toulouse, just at in the beginning of July. And this is, for example, more than 4,000 participants. We had more than 1/3 of those participants being young people of less than 35 years. There were 200 sessions. There were a lot of buzz around and meetings and dialogue between people. And this is the real spirit. Science to business, science education, science communication, science policy, all the different actors and stakeholders related to science in Europe and the world, because there were in Toulouse 104 nationalities among the participants and more than 1,000 speakers and moderators. This is not to make the report on the previous edition, but just to give you what ESOF represents. And the Trieste team was in full speed preparing a similar passionating program. And what happened, like everybody knows and has already mentioned, the pandemic and COVID-19 all over the world in different waves. And the challenge they had together with their committees and the EuroScience board and president, especially Michael Matlosz, who is here, to keep the spirit, succeed in maintaining it, and this was not the most difficult because the scientific community is particularly interested in such a moment. Michael Matlosz just mentioned science policy, science advice, science priorities in and post COVID-19. And this obviously is something where all the people involved in science are very interested in. And everybody is feeling and wants to be an actor of this change. And ESOF is a particular space for becoming such actors. I've seen many, I'm in the medical world, medical research myself, and I've seen people all over the world working like bees to get the data there, to share the data, to assure the quality of the data and find all the possibilities through digital meetings to continue the meeting, the dialogue and the exchange. And this ESOF is a symbol of this change. And I think that this is particularly important and it's a good moment for that. And anybody who will be meeting there or meeting virtually will be part of this essential change, because everybody knows that the meetings in science will not be the same after this crisis. They will achieve as much or maybe more exchange and dialogue, but it's in different ways. And this ESOF and all the team in Trieste has taken the challenge to be one of the first to give this new flavor, aspect, structure to this ESOF, will of course influence all the ESOF to come. And I want really to comment that, and I really thank and give all my congratulations before the event, because the work that has been done so far is so impressive that I just want to bring you all my congratulations for that. And I think that all the people who are attending this press conference must really realize the performance it is to transform an ESOF with all what I explained before, all these different actors, numbers, program, into this hybrid form that will certainly be a success. So I will finish with that and will answer questions later. Thank you.
Thanks to you. Thank you so much for your inspiring words. Finally, I leave the floor to Clive Cookson, member of the International Marketing and Media Committee that is responsible for the ESOF promotion and the elaboration of the communication strategy together with the ESOF2020 communication unit. So please, Clive Cookson, the floor is yours.
Thanks very much, Marina. I've been to every ESOF so far since the original one in Stockholm in 2004, and ending with Anne's magnificent ESOF 2018 in Toulouse. You journalists will get stories out of this one. I've found good stories in all of them so far. It is going to be an extraordinary hybrid format. According to provisional figures, there are of about 150 events, about 70 will be fully virtual, about 70 will be hybrid with some speakers in Trieste and some online, and then maybe a dozen with all the speakers present in Trieste. It's going to be quite a challenge for the organizers, and I hope you'll forgive them if things go a little bit wrong and treat it all in the sort of spirit of experimentation that's taking place, because as Anne and others said, this is perhaps a forerunner, the very first example of a very big scientific conference taking place in hybrid form. Trieste, for those who can get there, and I certainly intend to go if I possibly can, is a wonderful city. I enjoyed it so much in October when we were there for an organizing committee event. The old port buildings, which were then under renovation, will be, I'm sure, splendid. Halls 28 and 29, which Stefano mentioned. He and others have talked about the program. I won't go through it. Judge perhaps mentioned three things that particularly excite me. One is Richard Horton, the long-term editor-in-chief of the Lancet Medical Journal, who has been, I think, the most articulate and vehement critic of what Western governments, particularly US and UK, but all Western governments, of the way they have treated COVID-19, of their deficiencies. I'm looking forward very much to interviewing him at the meeting. Another person's Thomas Hartong, who's a leading toxicologist at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, originally from Europe. He's got some really interesting work on brain organoids, mini brains, and seeing what the SARS-CoV-2 virus does to the brain. I'm really looking forward to seeing Fabiola Gianotti, the Director General of CERN. There are many more. I better stop now because I want to leave time for questions. Thanks very much.
Thanks. Thank you so much to Clive. Now, yes, it's time for your questions. So I remember you that you can raise your hand clicking on the participants button. You will find another button, the raise your hand button, so you can ask your questions, and we can unmute you and get you directly in contact with the speakers. I think that there are some questions in the chat room. So in the meanwhile, I will try to read the first question that I see to Michael. Michael, you have stated, this ESOF is more important than ever due to COVID pandemic. What does this mean for the contributions to the European Green Deal?
Okay, can I speak directly? Is my microphone on?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So thank you very much for that question. It gives me an opportunity to emphasize the multidisciplinary horizontal transverse quality of ESOF, which makes it really a special event in Europe. Is it's a multidisciplinary cross-cutting event and is not limited to any one sector. What we'd like to see, not only in the area of health policy and the difficulties around the management of the pandemic, both from the point of view of the medical community, but also from the point of view of the economic community, from the societal communities, from the biological life sciences, from the questions around the modeling and the simulations and the epidemiologists, looking at the cross-cutting nature of this as emblematic of the kinds of things that the scientific community needs to be looking at in the 21st century. And in the same way, the contribution of the scientific community to the Green New Deal should be multidisciplinary. It should be cross-cutting. It should be involving interfaces and interactions between different disciplines and different specialists. And so I think that what we are getting from the COVID pandemic and the reflections that we are leading now on how this changes scientific practice and the role of science in society can be applied to many other areas than directly to questions of pandemics. We are now an interconnected world, and there are many, many challenges facing our societies that really require interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary, transdisciplinary approaches and interaction with society at large. And I think that ESOF is clearly the place where we can begin to work on this for the 21st century. And of course, that includes the Green New Deal and all of the changes necessary to maintain the policies that we need for a healthier, more sustainable environment for the world at large.
Okay, thank you. Thanks to Michael. Now I have another, there are some questions from the chat. This one was from Manfred Neun that to whom Michael just answered. The other one is from iSoon. Greeting from Germany. I have a question. In which form will the exhibition be organized? Virtual? Probably Professor Fantoni could answer to this question, or could suggest someone else, if there is someone else in the audience that could answer.
Well, I think that the exhibition will be done, will be just released both in virtual way and also in presence. But maybe if Maya De Simone can answer to this, it would be better. Can Maya De Simone give an answer to that?
Yes, of course. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Maya De Simone. I work as a project manager of the event. Yes, there will be the possibility to exhibit physically in Trieste. It will not be a very large exhibition. I can also share the map if the host allows me. Just a moment. And yes, there will also be the possibility to exhibit virtually, as we are preparing a platform that will be able to host one-to-one meetings, meetings one-to-many, and exhibition spaces, basic and premium exhibition spaces, and also agoras, like squares for discussion. In the part that I am showing you, this light blue, this is the exhibition part in the building that is named All28, and just in front of a large lounge where there will be video walls showing the virtual meetings in the virtual rooms, and then the large auditorium that will host many of the sessions, the hybrid sessions, and also the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony. I can also say about the link to register for the speakers, as I saw that there is also a question about that. Yes, you will be able to use the link that will be sent to you to register for free, as it was agreed for all the speakers. And so, yes, follow the instructions, and the registrations are already open.
Okay, thanks to Maya. And now it's time for another question from Felicity. Hello from Edinburgh, UK. No, this was just a comment. Hi, Felicity. Okay, sorry, because we have a lot of questions. There is another one. When will everyone find out? Okay. From Agrafiotti. When will everyone find out when is their session? So probably this question came from a panelist, I guess. I don't know if...
I think that this question can be answered by Bruno Della Vedova, who is responsible for the program. Can Bruno Della Vedova answer to this question?
Of course, yes, I can answer.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm in charge of working and crafting the program for next September event. Of course, all the sorry.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Probably Bruno has some problem
Sorry.
with his audio.
Could you repeat the question, please? I missed some part.
Yes, the question is, hold on, because it is over there. When
it was about the program.
Yeah, is when will everyone find out when is their session?
Okay.
When
okay. There is already loaded on the website the provisional program. The provisional program gives to any session the day and the time of their presentation, the rooms, of course. It is provisional, and in a few days there will be the I would say the full program available on the website, where you could go and filter by theme, by day, by proponent, by speakers, and so on. At the moment, the speakers are not loaded yet on the provisional program because it would have been too much information, and because we are still waiting to gather most of information from different session organizers and presenters. But in a few days, that will be available. If you go through the provisional program, you look at your title and at the institution of the proponent, and you'll be able to find out the day and the time.
Thank you, Bruno.
Okay, thanks. Thank you so much. A question to Stefano Fantoni from Aiden. Hi, Aiden. Stefano, can you explain the role of Rome and the multi-country region, neighboring countries, and international partners? Also, how bottom-up can it really be with the grassroots society involved? Or is the European Commission and Framework Program partners on tour? A meeting for elite? Maybe I can send the question to you, because it's a long question. Is it okay?
It's okay. I mean,
okay.
I will try to the role of Rome and
multi-country region
is the following. I mean, Rome, it means substantially the Minister of University and Research, and the Minister of University and Research has financed the event for about between 1/4 and 1/3 of the amount, which means that the Ministry of University and Research is considering this event one of the most important events that is considered in the year, because that is a large amount of money that they have been given to this event. So the Minister of this the Minister of University and Research will be present at the opening session together with other people. They will have most likely a stand which will be most likely a virtual stand, because we will have also virtual stand, and maybe Maya will explain what this virtual stand means. But I mean, so the presence of that minister is very important. There is also another minister which is extremely interested to this event, which is the Minister of the Economical Development, and so they are following us very closely. From the point of view of the neighboring, from the point of the multi-country region, then we have substantially the support by the city municipality that is giving us for free the place where we are going to well, just to have our event. Maybe the whole of the Porto Vecchio are given us for free, and so that is of course a big contribution. And the regional government is also financing the event more or less as much as the Ministry of Research and University. So there is a lot of interest and collaboration by them. This morning we had a press conference over here in which actually the president of the region and the mayor of the city were just together with me during that press conference. So that is as far, of course, it is not, that is not the only thing, as Aidan was mentioning. There is also the neighboring countries, particularly the countries of the Southeast Europe that are certainly very much interested, and they will come more numerous than in the previous ESOF event, just because, of course, we are actually in the border of that, and that was one of the missions we had. And so Slovenia, Croatia, Hungary, and many of these countries will have events that they have been selected by the program committee, and also there will be some activity for the science festival that maybe Paolo Rodari can explain better than me, in which all these countries will do events that can be, say, seen and in the various different countries. So I must say that the involvement of all these countries is very important, is very strong. What we have been missing, of course, with respect to the July event, is that we will lose a part of the presence of this participant because of problems which are related to difficulties in traveling, economical difficulties, and so on and so forth. But as far as we can understand from what we have now, the participation of expert scientists, politicians from this country is even larger than before.
Thank you. Thanks, Stefano Fantoni. I will quickly go on with other questions because we have a lot of them. This is an easy one, I guess. How many participants do you expect? Maybe
how many
Professor
do I expect? I think that maybe a good measure would be 1/3 of what we were considering in July. So it depends. Maybe for the science festival will be more than 1/3, according to me. But that is actually what we are expecting, or at least what we are designing for. I mean, because you see, we are producing. I mean, the various structure and the various activities in such a way that are measured to the number of people that we expect. I don't know. Maybe Maya, you want to say something about that? Can you hear me, Maya?
Yes. Yes, Professor Fantoni, I can hear. Yes, I can answer briefly to a few questions that raised in the chat. Yes, we expect to have 1/3 physical participants and maybe more participants connecting only online. I can also add the information that yes, there is a different registration fee for physical participation and a flat rate for just online participation. So you can find all this information in the registration fees section on our website. And there is also one question about when speakers will receive the link to be able to register. This hasn't been done yet. It will be done in the next few days. So you will receive a new link, not the old one that you already received for the July edition. So please don't put in spam the new communication that will be arriving to your emails directly. We have a platform that is a proprietary platform using different kind of technology. The platform works as a virtual conference center. I can share a screen. Please, host, give me permission. Thank you. This proprietary platform allows people to, all the participants to choose among different rooms that will be hybrid rooms and also completely virtual rooms. And those rooms are also accompanied by agoras, so places, virtual places where people can interact on different themes during the 3 central days, and also to visit. Please, host, give me the possibility to share. And delegates will also be able to visit the yes, now we can do it. Okay. So this is the yeah, sorry. This is the possibility to, you will choose an event homepage where you can choose among sponsors, among meeting rooms, and have direct links to the places, the virtual places you want to visit. So this is an example of a premium virtual stand. This is an example of standard virtual stand. And there is the possibility to, there is the possibility to register just for the online and to apply for only live streaming. There is a little bit more to pay to be able to access the ESOF library that will comprehend nearly 50 or 60 sessions that will be recorded. So not all the sessions will be recorded. There is a choice of the among the entire content. So you will be informed about that. I mean, the speakers will be informed about that, and the session organizers. I don't know if I answered to all the...
Thank you. Maybe, Maya, there is another question about, will there be patent office participation to enlighten the intellectual property for science journalists? Maybe, I don't know if you can answer to this question.
Yeah, I don't catch very good the meaning of the question.
Will there be a patent office participation?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what this means. Can I have a better explanation about that? Sorry, no, maybe.
I think The answer is no, but
No.
I think that, yeah.
Patent office to.
I don't think we will have the presence of any patent office at ESOF. Okay, so we can go on with.
Marina, excuse me. I think I have seen, I mean, in the line, one question that maybe Maya should answer.
Okay, which one?
Use, I don't know, I cannot see it now, but how the journalists can interview the speakers.
Okay, I will check.
We will give the possibility to, of course, do the interviews in a virtual way and also in a physical way. So we will let you know how you can, with the link, how you can have a date and a time to do so.
Okay, and the same person asked another question. Are there any arrangements in terms of reimbursement policy, transportation and accommodation?
It depends on the category of...
for journalists.
Is that for journalists? No, yeah. Journalists will have free access to all the content, but not to have a reimbursement for travel and hospitality.
Okay.
There is a specific fee for students. Yes, all the information are in the table on the website. So there is a huge discount for students and for young participants.
Okay. Another question: considering how few speakers are attending physically, can you explain the advantage to a speaker of attending physically?
Do you want me to answer this question, Professor Fantoni, or you want to do that?
Please.
Well, physical participation is, of course, the best one, because you have the possibility to interact also outside of the rooms with all the colleagues that will be present. So we are, of course, very committed to this new solution that found us in such a difficult time with COVID, but we are not so much happy to organize this event all online. I mean, we are forced to do that. So, of course, we are very happy to welcome everyone in Trieste. Trieste is a wonderful place, and I wish to thank also Clive Cookson for reminding this and saying a few words about the destination that is really wonderful. So September is also a wonderful month. So interacting here would be much better than doing it online. But we understand if the participants will not be able to join. Because we understand that there are many constraints by the bodies, by the entities, corporations, by the universities. So we invite you to come to Trieste because we think that is the better way to be together and to exchange ideas. So this is it.
Thank you, Maya. There is an attendee that raised his hand, Guy Reeves. Maybe Alessandro can unmute him if he is still waiting for us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. If he's...
Hi. Sorry, I put my hand down a while ago. I mean, given the importance that Michael said of ESOF this year to the COVID situation, why aren't you making more of the panels, or at least some of the panels, available to non-registrants? And why wouldn't there be more? What are the plans for making recordings publicly available?
Well, actually, there is a plan about doing that. Although it's not communicated, it's not on the website by now, but we will be opening for sure some sessions also to people that are not registered. So that is a decision that will be taken, I think, in the next few days and will be communicated on the website. So yes, the answer is yes.
Great. And is there a way that panelists can promote their own session as one of those that we make publicly available, or you'll just choose a certain percentage?
I think that is the best question. I think that is this is a question directly for Bruno Della Vedova, that is in charge of the program, the local program team. So maybe Bruno, you can answer.
Well, for sure, it will be advisable to have most of the session available, and I would say easy and to be distributed to all participants, even to non-registrant ones. But on the other side, there are some, I would say, there is a policy about the registration and the fees, which has been already decided by the ESOF steering committee. And of course, we will keep this going until the event is on, but afterwards, I think the sessions will be, I would say, looked through and sorted out in order to have most of them made available.
Great, thank you.
Thanks. A question to Michael.
Marina, there was a question that I have answered, presumably not very deeply, about the fact that how the science festival is going to change because of this, because of the difficulties that we have for health problem and so on and so forth. I don't know whether if Paola Rodari can answer to this a little bit better than what I have done.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you see me? Ciao, everybody. I will start, I will speak. Yes, in fact, Stefano, you say that the festival was spanning for 2-3 weeks. Instead, we are talking about 2-3 months.
I was just mistaken by an order of magnitude.
Yeah, it's a bit different. We are starting the 5th of July, practically now. That was the old date for the starting of ESOF, with something that's purely digital, and ESOF award for a short movie on science and society in an international festival. And we will go on until surely all September and most probably also October. And the why is because, of course, this festival is no more just, you know, an intense, very short, quick celebration with parties that are not more suitable for the situation, but will be something that will be more relaxed, disseminated with 180 events and 26 exhibitions that will span for months. So to have a quieter, nicer, safer, let's say, dialogue between artists, scientists, researchers, and yeah, all kinds of citizens. And these events, as Professor Fantoni said, are organized by a lot of local institutions, but not just local, also the institution, national, international. And for the one that asked why to come to Trieste, what is the added value, I would say that, of course, we all understand the difficulties to move in these moments of the life of the world. But if it's possible, I think that will be very interesting to come to Trieste also to enjoy all the opportunity that the festival gives, that of course will be more intense and more numerous, close to the days of the conference. And because there are also, institutions that are from abroad that are bringing the ideas and they you know, their events. I just want to mention one that Professor Fantoni also mentioned before. We will have in the week of the first week of September, the week of ESOF, the forum, we will have here an exhibition inside the Congress centers coming from Central Eastern European countries and organized by the Central European initiatives and by us and by Trieste Contemporanea and by institutions from Hungary, Croatia, Romania, Serbia, and is again a very interesting experiment, because there will be exhibition of art and science in these different countries and in Trieste, but from the Trieste, and we will have pieces of this exhibition from Serbia, Croatia in Trieste, but at the same time there will be another level that is purely virtual, and all these exhibition will be can be accessible virtually. So basically from Trieste you will go to Budapest, Bucharest. From Bucharest you can go to Belgrade and so on. And of course this is, for example, I think is a very interesting experiment, both of a reflection and working together among the art and scientists, but also of media, because basically it's something quite new to have at the same time an hybrid kind of exhibition. And to come here and see it, I think it will be worthy, and we do hope to have the most of you in Trieste.
Thank you so much, and I think it's time to end the meeting. I see that there are some other technical and practical questions, and I invite all of you to check out our website, ESOF2020 and Science in the City Festival website, that is scienceinthecity2020.eu. I thanks everybody for joining us, and I'm looking forward to seeing you online or physically here in Trieste on September. And of course, we are at your disposal for answering to your question by email as well. You will receive our press release with all our press contacts. So see you on September. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.